And so Intrigue takes the day here at the Long Beach Cup with a stunning performance in the final leg of the race. Let's get a word with Intrigue skipper, Scott Dixon. Congratulations, Scott, on a spectacular win.
Well, thanks very much, Greg. We're probably as surprised as anyone at winning that race, but we sailed it by the book and it really paid off for us.
Oh, well, I bet a lot of sailors would like to read that book. Now,
well, I've got the book right here if you'd like to take a look.
What's that?
The book that we sail by. Check it out.
Well, but this is a physics book.
You can go to windward now.
Sports figures. Put your brain in the game.
Nautical term number 1, sail. Nautical term number 2, boat. Sailboat. You got your sail and you got your boat. The wind comes along to push the sail, and there you go, you're sailing. It's simple, right? Now, here's a question for you. If a sailboat gets pushed by the wind, how can it ever sail into the direction the wind is coming from? And how come a sailboat sails fastest when the wind isn't behind it? And how come some sailboats can actually sail faster than the wind? How the heck does this thing work? A sailboat works like this. I'm not kidding. And a sailboat also works like this. And I'm also not kidding. Does a sailboat work like an airplane and a watermelon seed? Yes. See? I'm not kidding. When you think of force in sports, you probably think of like football or hockey. But sailing is probably the most sophisticated use of force in all of sports. Force! Nautical term number 3, Scott Dixon. Scott is a full-time professional sailor. He's competed in the Kenwood Cups and sailed in regattas in France, Spain, Russia, all over the world. He's also ranked in the top 100 of the Omega World Match Race Rankings. So, Scott, how do you sail a sailboat?
Sailboat is powered by the wind. Obviously, the wind blows into the sails, and I guess that's why it's called a sailboat.
Can a sailboat actually sail faster than the wind?
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely. And are there any specific kind of boats that can do this?
Well, catamarans, America's Cup yachts, ice boats.
So a sailboat can sail in all directions, no matter which way the wind is blowing.
Right, and the most obvious is with the wind coming from behind you, and that's called going downwind.
When a sailboat sails with the wind behind it, the wind does just push it along. It's called sailing with the wind.
Or you could sail with the wind coming over the side of your boat, and that's called reaching.
When a sailboat has the wind coming across the boat, it's called a reach.
Or you can sail with the wind coming at almost at your bow, which is called going to weather.
When a sailboat sails just off angle from the direction the wind is blowing, it's called into the wind.
Over here just a minute.
That's weird, right? I mean, how could the sailboat sail into the direction the wind is coming from? Even weirder is that the sailboat sails fastest when the wind is coming across the boat on a reach. It's weird, right? You'd think the boat would get the full power of the wind by running in front of it. That brings us back to our airplane, or more precisely, our airplane wing. The sail on a sailboat works just like an airplane wing. Now, you see how the wing is designed? It's flat along the bottom here, but curved at the top. And when the wind passes over it, something interesting happens. The wing splits the stream of air. The air that goes under the wing gets deflected and slowed. The air diverted over the top of the wing has to go up and over the curve. The air going over the top of the wing has to reach the back of the wing at the same time as the air that went under. What that means is the air going over the top has to travel faster. So the wing is just a device that controls the speed of air. It gets the air going over one side of it going faster than the air going over the other side. So what does that do for us?
It has to do with pressure.
An airplane flies and a sailboat sails for exactly the same reason, pressure. And we owe it all to an 18th century physicist by the name of Daniel Bernoulli. Bernoulli wrote wrote a paper in 1738 called Hydrodynamica, which, in case you don't speak Latin, means hydrodynamic. Now, one of the things he proved is that the faster a gas or liquid moves, the lower the pressure, and that areas of higher pressure push towards areas of lower pressure. Now, this might not seem like much, but this idea was so important that they named it Bernoulli's principle. This is the reason airplanes fly and sailboats sail. So this Bernoulli guy was pretty important. What Bernoulli's principle means to our wing is that the faster moving air on top has a lower pressure than the slower moving air on bottom. The higher pressure air results in a force perpendicular, at a right angle, to the boundary between the high pressure and the low pressure, like the wing. We call that force lift. On an airplane, it lifts the plane. Well, not this one, because it's broken. Okay, so that's how it works on an airplane, but a sailboat doesn't fly, right? Well, actually it does. You see, the sail of a sailboat is really just a wing turned on its end. So Scott, the sail actually is a wing.
It's shaped to have a curve so that when the wind fills the sail, the wind follows a curve around to generate lift.
Okay, so it has lift just like an airplane wing.
Similar, an airplane wing lifts in a vertical direction, a sail lifts a boat in a horizontal direction.
The sail is being lifted forward, not pushed by the wind. To feel lift, just stick your hand outside the window of a moving car. Now, don't try this at home. I'm a trained professional under controlled laboratory conditions. Now, if you just tip your hand up a little bit, you can feel it getting lifted up, not pushed back like you might expect. That's Bernoulli's principle at work. See, the air has to move faster to get around the forward side of the sail. Faster air, lower pressure. The sail isn't being pushed forward by the wind. It's being pushed forward by the difference in air pressure. The force acts perpendicular to the sail like this. Wait a second, something is not right here. If I want to go this direction, but the wind is coming in this direction, it creates a force in that direction. What the heck is going on here? The wind is blowing this way, and we want to sail in this direction. And the lift force pulls in this direction, not the direction we want to go in. So how do we move forward instead of sideways? To figure it out, we need to understand something about the forces at work on the boat. One of the things we know about force is that we can break it down into pieces, its components. To do this, we use what are called force vectors. The lift force on the sail is going in this direction. Using vectors, we can break it down into its components, its parts, like this. There's a lateral part pushing in this direction and a forward component in this direction. Okay, you guys are the force acting on the side of the boat. Let's see what happens with our sideways or lateral part of our force. Okay, what's going on?
It's not moving.
Okay, so now try being the forward component of the force. Whoa, okay, what happened?
Well, the boat moved forward because it's designed to go forward. It cuts through the water.
Yeah, the boat's not designed to move sideways.
Okay, so the shape of the hull resisted being pushed sideways, but it didn't resist moving forward. The design of the hull makes it so the boat resists going sideways because it has to push against all that water. But going forward is easy for the boat. It's designed to go that way. So the lateral component of our force is canceled out, but not the forward component. So we go forward. In really strong winds, the lateral force on the boat could be so great that the hull couldn't resist it. So we have to add something else to our boat. Nautical term number 38, keel. See, when the wind pushes sideways against the boat like this, look what it has to push against. The hull and the keel present a big flat surface in the water. The wind has to push against all that water. But look at the bow of the boat. It's totally designed to slip through the water with the least resistance possible. Here's how a sailboat works. When the wind comes across the boat on a reach like this, the sail splits the wind. Some of the wind hits this side and pushes out the shape of the sail. And the air that goes around the other side creates the Bernoulli effect with the force in that direction. That force has lateral and forward components. The whole of the boat and the keel underneath it resist lateral movement, but the boat is designed to have as little resistance as possible in the forward direction, so the boat shoots forward. Two opposing forces, the wind in one direction and the water against the boat in the other direction. Sailing. The seed shoots out because of its shape, the curved surface. It's almost shaped like the hull of a boat. The faster the wind moves, the greater the Bernoulli effect. So if the wind doubles in speed, the force more than doubles. It quadruples. So a 10-knot wind will give you 4 times as much force as a 5-knot wind. That's a lot of force. So with all this force here, it's no wonder that a boat can sail faster than the wind. Because of the Bernoulli principle, the boat's speed doesn't depend on the speed of the wind, but on the difference in pressure on either side of the sail. So a boat with very little resistance in the water can easily be lifted to speeds faster than the wind. Obviously, there's a ton of science involved in making a sailboat sail. Now, you don't need to know all this just to sail a boat, but it would make you a better sailor. But who in real life would actually need to know all this stuff? This guy right here. This is Alan Andrews, and he designs sailboats for a living. So we know that the sail in a sailboat works as a wing, right? Right. But there's another wing on the sailboat.
It's the keel. The keel's keeping the boat from going sideways. It's creating lift that offsets the force from the sails and keeps the sailboat from going sideways. The underbody of a boat looks real close to half of an airplane. You've got the keel in the middle of the boat, and then in the stern, you've got the rudder. So if you took an airplane and were to slice it down the middle and turn it on its end so the one set of the wings is pointing down, that would look like the underbody of a sailboat.
So Alan, designing sailboats, I mean, it sounds like a pretty cool job. How did you ever get to do this?
I was into sailing, and I started sketching a few things and then kind of thought, okay, what do I have to do to be able to go from there? And I found out that, yeah, it does involve a lot of math. It does involve science. I studied drafting and math in high school, and then I went to college and I studied mechanical engineering.
See, Bernoulli's principle works with gases and liquids, so the keel works like a wing in the water. If we turned an airplane on its side and put it in the water, look what we get. A wing under the water, like the keel. The fuselage is like the hull of the boat, and the other wing is like the sail. Nautical term number 438, mess. Okay, so what did we learn?
That the sailboat actually can go faster than the wind.
Yeah, because a sailboat sails just like the wing of an airplane, and a wing works because of the way it controls its airspeed.
Right, the Bernoulli principle. That the faster that a gas or a liquid is moving, the lower the pressure. And the higher pressure area exerts a force in the direction of the low pressure.
And the whole boat works as a wing in the water.
We also learned that you can break a force down into its components.
Right, using vectors.
Because the wind and the water are opposing forces, they shoot the boat forward, like a watermelon seed.
Okay, well, I guess you guys got it. Let's do some sailing. I'd like to thank Scott Dixon, the U.S. Sailing Center, and of course all our students, Betsy, Bernadette, Jordan, and Dave, for helping us out today on ESPN2 Sports Figures, Sailing with Bernoulli.